ladies and gents. We are live for some more enthralling F3 action here in Sao Paulo, in the favelas in Brazil, home of the Ayrton Senna and stupid racing fans. And we're just waiting for all of the people to select their tyre allocation for the day. But we are here in Interlagos, one of the best circuits on the calendar for racing, and I'm very sure that we are going to have an afternoon of absolute chaos and carnage as what happened. That is what happens here in Brazil. 30 seconds until qualifying starts. I am going to go close my door because I do not need the entire street hearing me shouting, so give me a second. That is a problem. My mic has fallen over. There we go. My mic did fall over, which is a problem. But we are here, ladies and gents. Feel free to chat with us in the group chat. Well, not in the group chat, in the live chat. And we shall be getting going as Conor Ahern, as is tradition now, will get us going. All my audio levels sound good. And we shall be getting going round about now as Conor Ahern will be the one to start us off here in Sao Paulo for the qualifying session. Only one qualifying session, as is the norm here in GRS, so 3, maybe 4 laps to get your qualifying locked in and for your grid position to start. And obviously, not to sound like Will Buxton, but especially here in F3, you want to be up the front because the midfield is a death sentence. So there's extra importance to this qualifying session, which means there's extra stakes and a little bit more carnage possibly, as people are trying to push to get the most out of their cars and their setups. As Conor Ahern will get us started, as he will go into the Senna S's to start us off. A brilliant start to the lap here in Interlagos, and he's invalidated, so I'll go fuck myself. Jake Bamford, he'll be the one to get us started here in Sao Paulo as he heads into the Senna S's for the first time. And through turn 2, he doesn't invalidate, and he will make sure that he stays within the track limits as he goes down the Reta Reposta into turn 4 here. And down through turn 4, and he's invalidated. Can someone set a valid lap, please? Right, Robert Jovanovski, the man who was absolutely dominant last time out in Qatar. The man who, he won the race by the best part of 25 seconds. Got pole by 0.8 of a second, so he'll want to recreate that form. And he's invalidated. Stop invalidating, please. Stephen Trodden, he will be the next one to get us going for this qualifying session if he doesn't invalidate. As he goes into the horseshoe corner. I think it's Bico de Pato, or as I like to call it, the Albon corner. As he goes round that long left-hander where Verstappen famously had that Tokyo drift moment. He's going to have the slipstream from Novaliska, his teammate. So a bit of speedway team play for the 2 Haas cars. And what's it going to be for Stephen Trodden? We are going to get someone to do a lap for us here, and he crosses the line with a 1:10.2. A bit of so a bit of context. Pole last night in F1 was a 1:08.2, I believe. Set by, I think it was Vilius Lastauskas. So we'll see how close these drivers can get to that time. We'll see who's on a lap. I believe, yeah, Lowry on a lap goes fastest with the 1:08.9. So already quite close to that GRS F2 or F1 pole time, and Conor Ahern into the pits after his invalidation. Corey McSweeney to the line. He is not going to be doing that good of a lap. I think the Red Bull will be the next one to cross the line of Robert Jovanovski, and he's not invalidated this time. And what is it going to be to the line for the Red Bull driver? And it's up to a 108.1. I am just going to make sure there was a 108.2 yesterday, because that's made me question myself. Oh no, it was a 107.2. So I was only a second off. So that's about me in every qualifying session in F1. So through turn... Is anyone on laps? Yes, Thibaut was on a lap, and he has crossed the line. I think the other Williams of F.A. Chakmak in that Golf livery is just starting his lap. But we'll turn our attention to the other Red Bull, who is... it's not the other Red Bull, it's the RB, I believe, who crossed the line. I don't know why they had to make those cars so similarly coloured. But to the line for Corey McSweeney, he is definitely on a lap. And he goes up to P6 for the McLaren driver, but still not that good. Oh, when he spins in turn 1 and into the ball he goes. And that will be rear wing damage if we have that turned on. I'm pretty sure we do. And I don't know if you can get that sorted in the pit lane. But he's just looped it round on the... I'm going to turn the telemetry off because it looks a bit better. Yeah, he's just looped it round on the grass there. Mitch Snape goes up to P7 with a 109.0. The Sauber off the track there. And Brian was one of those to start his lap as F.A. Chakmak goes on to pole with a 107.9. It's a welcome back to GRS for the German. And it's a great lap to get us going there, as the Alpine of Conor Ahern is going to start that lap. And I think the two McLarens aren't on laps. Oh no, I say that Brian is, but he's invalidated. And obviously Corey with that wing damage possibly, if we have it turned on. So he won't be on a lap, as Aru, who he's been a bit up and down in qualifyings recently. He will be going to the line in the Mercedes. The Silver Arrow to the line. He's going to go P8. Not that good for Aru on his first attempt here in qualifying. Now the Haas of Stephen Trodden will be the next to cross the line. What's it going to be for the Haas driver? He improves by 4 tenths, but he does not improve the position as he goes through there. And it is a good... It is not the best of lap times for the Haas driver. We're going to have a look at the Williams of... I believe that is F.A. Chakmak. I think he might be on a lap. I doubt it, actually. Jack, not on a lap at the moment. He's about to start one. Larry, I think the next one to cross the line will be, and he's not going to improve. He's going into the pits. Conor Ahern will be one to set a lap, and it's a 108.5. That's a good lap from the Alpine driver there, as one of the Mercedes crosses the line, not to improve. And I think Brian going into the pits now. So I think the other Mercedes of Aru will be crossing the line 5 tenths up on his time. What will it be for the Mercedes driver? And it is P4 for the Mercedes man. That's more like it if you're Aru. And next one to cross the line will be Novaliska, but he's not on a lap, and neither is Stephen Trodden. So neither of the Haas cars will be setting times. Mitch Snape invalidated, so he will not be setting a time at the moment. I think... Robert Jovanovski is on a outlap, so he will not be setting times. Neither is Jake Bamford. So not many crossing the line. Ross Turner also not on a lap. So I think it's the Alpine of Jack Cocaine who will be the next one to cross the line. Obviously, a decent few results of the last couple races. What will it be here for the first lap for his qualifying session? It's P11 for the Alpine driver and the Alpine team principal at the moment. And he will go, yeah, into P11 with a 109.1. He will think there's a bit more time in that lap. Novaliska on a lap. We'll check the Mercedes of, I believe that's, yeah, Mikel on a lap. But he's invalidated again. Mikel not doing the best of qualifying sessions at the moment. So I believe the next one to cross the line will be Novaliska, and he's purple sector 2. And he's with 3/10 up, and that will put him in the conversation for P4, maybe P5. If he can get this last sector right. Not much of a last sector, it's just one corner and a straight. As he goes to the line, P4 for the Haas driver, and that is a pretty decent lap for the Haas man. As he goes round, I think the next driver to cross the line will be the Sauber of Jake Bamford to the line. What will it be for the Sauber man? It's P3, and that's Ross Turner into P8 with a 108.5, and it was a 108.1 for the Kick Sauber driver. Hopefully he'll think that's a good lap, because I mean, there's time to maybe get 2 laps in, but I'd heavily doubt it. But Mikel, 7/10 up. This is his 3rd lap on that set of tyres. Does he have enough fuel to get to the line? I think he will now. And, well, anyway, he's improving. And to the line, what will it be for the Mercedes driver? It's a 108.9. That's not a great lap, but on those tyres, there's not much more he could have probably done, because he's been on those tyres for about 4 consecutive flying laps now that he's all invalidated. He's up to P12. I believe the Haas of Novaliska might be on a lap. He's going to the line. He's 1.3 down, so he might... Yeah, he's going into the pits now. Maybe the Ferrari of Mitch Snape. He's on an out lap, and he will be going on to that lap. So we'll check anyone else. McSweeney is looks like he's on a lap. We'll just check the... yeah, he is on a lap, so we will keep an eye on this and see who's crossing the line. I believe that Sauber is to cross the line. Fotz and Fritz. He, I don't know, it'll be, yeah, Fotz and Fritz to the line with a 108.0. Goes into P2. Just a 10th off FA Check Mack in the Williams. And to the line, Conor Ahern's going to be starting that lap. And, well, has to cross the line. He doesn't improve. Williams to cross the line. He goes into P4. Thibaut. And now Corey McSweeney to the line. P13. For the McLaren driver, and he's going to try to get out of the way of his teammate Brian M, who is going to be starting that lap. And oh no, he's not, because he's got no ERS whatsoever. So we'll check on the Red Bull of Jake Armstrong. And he goes into P10 for the Red Bull driver. And I believe Mitch Snape will be the next one to cross the line. He's purple sector 2, 4/10 up. That puts him in the conversation for that P. He can maybe go up to P7, P6 if he can get this last sector right. If he has enough battery stored up, and he goes into P7. So just behind Novaliska there. So decent final sector. Purple apparently final sector for the Ferrari. So there might be a bit of time in that lap for the Ferrari man. But we shall see. As Fox and Fritz, he is not on a lap. I think the Alpine of Conor Ahern will be the next one to cross the line. He's up to P7. He improves by a 1/10 of a second. And then the pass of Stephen Trodden to cross the line. He doesn't go any faster. Well, he does go faster, but he doesn't improve by that much. I think that would have been FA Chapmack on a lap. He did not improve. He was 15 seconds down, so that might be a double cool or a double warm-up lap for the Williams driver. I think the next person to cross the line will be the Mercedes. He is on an out lap, so we shall... Oh, that's very close to the white lines there for Aru. And, oh, he does go... Well, he told me it was an out lap, but he said it was 5/10 quicker, so... That's very weird indeed. Mitch into the pit lane. So, people will be starting to pit now. Obviously, with 5 minutes to go, people want to be getting the track in the most optimum place. I think this might be FA Chapmack's final lap for this qualifying session. He's 3/10 up, so he might not need another lap because there's not much time to get back round and to the line. What's it going to be for the Williams driver in the Golf Williams livery? And doesn't that livery look nice on the Williams car? To the line. It's a 107.6. That's a great lap from the Williams. Beats my quali lap from last night by just shy of a 10th. So, yeah, that would have been very competitive in F1 last night. But it currently puts him on pole here in F3. And I think the Mercedes is on an out lap, as is Aru. Oh, he's on an in lap, I should say. And Ross Turner on an out lap for the Aston Martin, and we'll go on board with him for the moment. So I think he's going to be starting that lap, and we'll go on board with the Aston Martin, that British Racing Green Aston Martin, as he heads into the centre S's for the first time. Gets a bit wide on the apex of turn 1. That will not help his run through this entire first sector, because it compromises turn 2, which in turn compromises turn 3, and then compromising turn 3 ruins this run down the Retta Aposta. Turn 4 comes next. Decent run through there for the Aston Martin. And now towards the horseshoe corner, down one gear, gets it into the corner, a little bit of a flick to get it in there, and now into the infield section we go, around this long off camber left-hander, and down to up to Pico de Pato he goes, the horseshoe corner where famously Lewis Hamilton took out Alex Albon in that mental 2019 Brazilian Grand Prix. And down the hill he plunges, and into the final proper corner he goes, nice and hooked up on the apex for Ross Turner. This is a decent lap for the Aston Martin, as it looks like, but we'll see if he's improving. I haven't been keeping an eye on the sector times, but to the line goes Ross Turner. This will be his final lap in this qualifying session. He goes up to P7 for the Aston Martin, and Mitch Snape will be there to start his lap. Now I believe the next man to cross the line will be Robert Jovanovski, but he is not on a lap. He has invalidated, so this will be the first... he goes into the pits. Will he have enough time to get back out on track? I doubt it heavily, but Novaliska to the line. He's not going to improve. And then the Alpine of Conor Ahern not improving, just starting that lap. And now I believe the other Red Bull is on an out lap. Mikel, he's invalidated, so he'll be going for another lap. A lot of people going on more laps. Brian M, he is on a lap at the moment. So to the line goes the Chrome McLaren, and he's out of ERS, and he's up to P16. So he's displaced Jack off the final row of the grid, off the final position on the grid. But I doubt, considering Jack's position in the championship, that he'll be there for long as Brian goes into the runoff area. I believe the Sauber is that Jake Bamford. He's starting his lap. The Ferrari of Mitch Snape will be finishing his lap, but he's down on his time, so he'll be going for another run. The sole Ferrari of Mitch Snape, and that is Conor Ahern. He is down on his lap, so he has got time to make up in that final sector, and he's down. He's not even using his ERS, so I think that might be, yeah, Conor Ahern's qualifying done and dusted. But the McLaren of Corey McSweeney to the line, P14 at the moment. He improves his time, and he's up to P12 for the McLaren driver. The Williams of Thibaut just starting his lap. The Red Bull of, I believe that would have been Jake Armstrong. He did not improve, or at least he didn't improve his position. And as the Haas went through that, Novaliska, did he improve? I don't think he did. He's already invalidated out of turn 1. And Jake Bamford also invalidated his time. The McLaren of, that would be Brian M, going for another lap. The Mercedes, oh, and that's Brian sliding off the track, and that will be his qualifying over. I think the Mercedes improved as well. And here comes the Sauber of Jake Bamford and Willie John. They're about to start their laps, ladies and gents, so they will be one of the last to cross the line. And oh, that's Willie going very, very off kilter there, off the track for the Sauber, as Mitch Snape, he is on a lap, but I doubt it's a very good one. But we'll have a look at Conor Ahern. He's not improving, so we'll go back to Thibaut, who is just within his time. He might be able to improve to the line. He does not improve for the Williams. Robert Jovanovski, no, I believe the next one to cross the line will be Novaliska, but he is not improving, and I don't think the McLaren is either. So we'll turn our attention to our Mikel, I should say, who's up by 0.3, and he is going to improve up to P11 for the Mercedes man. Aru up by 0.2. This will put him in the conversation for P7. To the line he will go. What's it going to be for the Silver Arrow? To the line he goes up to P5, and we saw someone in the wall there. But we'll look at the two Saubers. Willie John to cross the line. He does not improve. Jake Bamford to the line. He does not improve. Mitch Snape to the line. He does not improve. The Haas of, I believe, Stephen Trodden. He does not improve. Jack Cocaine to the line. He's in the pits. He's only P15. That is not a good lap for the McLaren, for the Alpine man, I should say. As Robert Jovanovski, the last man to cross the line, and he will not improve. So it's F.A. Chakmak on his return to GRS, who takes pole in the Williams, I believe. Well, I think that Charlie Gordon, team principal of Williams, will be very, very happy with that. The German is on pole, and he'll be very happy with that lap in the Williams. So your grid is F.A. Chakmak in the Williams, Jake Bamford, Willie John, Robert Jovanovski, Aru, Novaliska, Thibaut, Ross Turner, Conor Ahern, and Mitch Snape for the top 10. And then it's Mikel, Jake Armstrong, Lowry, Corey McSweeney, Jack Cocaine, Stephen Trodden, and Brian in the McLaren, who rounds up off the grid. And that is a very, very interesting grid. The two Saubers will be attacking the Williams of F.A. Chakmak. Do not look away, ladies and gents, because this could be quite the interesting race we have in store for you today here in Interlagos. I will just check the chat to see if anyone's been saying anything. Not at the moment. So 11 people watching, so thank you very much to you all for tuning in to watch this race. And yeah, we will just wait to get going at the moment, because we never have a timer, so it is kind of just random. I think, and I mean, usually it's been sooner rather than later that the 5 red lights go out compared to where we go when we load in. So we'll just wait for the camera to go to those lights. And there it is. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 red lights here in Interlagos. And it's go, go, go for the F3 Brazilian Grand Prix. And it looks like the Sauber of Jake Bamford has had a good start. He is going to take the lead into turn 1 as they go into the center S's. It looks like there's a bit of ghosting behind, but they all seem to go through cleanly. Oh, there's an RB in the background with a little bit of a slide on. The Sauber of Jake Bamford. And it's Willie John losing position to the back of the pack there. I don't know what's happened to him. So one of the Saubers falling backwards already. There's carnage in the midfield as Conor Ahern, and that's the other Williams and Thibaut going wide in that Golf livery Williams car. Now they're going to go side by side with the Red Bull of Robert Jovanovski up the hill. He does not make the move, but the Ferrari of Mitch Snape making a move there. And here comes Mikel up the inside. He makes contact with the Alpine of Conor Ahern. That's an Alpine front wing going flying across the track, and that is Thibaut making the position on Robert Jovanovski, and he's going to lose again to the Mercedes of Mikel. Mikel gets a little bit of oversteer, and they're going to fight down the hill, the Red Bull and the Mercedes. It's got shades of Verstappen and Hamilton from years ago, and it's Mikel who loses that position out to Robert Jovanovski, and he might even lose a position out to the Alpine of Conor Ahern. But he does have that wing damage. We'll look to the front of the field because Novaliska is looking to go around the outside of the Mercedes of Aru, and he does into the center S's. Novaliska into P3 and into that podium position. Oh, he's got Robert Jovanovski spinning round with front wing damage. What has happened to the Red Bull? It has gone from absolute brilliance last time out in Qatar to absolute heartbreak for the Red Bull. As the other Red Bull fighting away with the Aston Martin. That was a Haas going wide. That was Stephen Trodden there in the Haas going wide there. People off everywhere you look. I think Brian's had an incident. He's down to the back of the pack here as we go through there. As Jake Armstrong fighting away with Conor Ahern in the Alpine. And a little bit of contact. That might allow the McLaren of Corey McSweeney to go through on the Red Bull. He's got wing... the Red Bull's got wing damage as well as Conor Ahern. So they'll be losing time, and that'll be heaven on earth to Mitch Snape in the Ferrari as they go round the final corner. The Sauber of Willie John fighting away with Stephen Trodden. There's contact there, and it's going to force Stephen out wide. And the Red Bull, I believe that is, of Jake Armstrong will be battling away with Conor Ahern, who does pit in the Williams, or in the Alpine, I should say. Into turn 1 they go. This is a proper handbags out scrap for P8 here. And I think Corey McSweeney's going to have a slipstream on the Red Bull. The McLaren fighting away with the Red Bull, and it's going to be an easy pass down the straight, and Jack Cocaine might even have enough overlap to go up the inside of the Red Bull, and he does. Jack, oh, a little bit of contact there with the Red Bull of Jake Armstrong, and he's up into P9. A little bit of rubbing his racing there from the Alpine of Jack Cocaine, and he's up into P9, and Jake's going to lose another position to Ross Turner if he's not careful. A little bit of contact. It's all argy-bargy here in Interlagos. It's street rules here in Sao Paulo, and down the inside is going to go Willie John. He looked at it. He's not going to go for the move on the RB of Lowry, but this midfield scrap, I told you in qualifying it'd be absolute chaos, and I seem to be right. And off the track there goes, I believe that's Brian in the McLaren into the outfield there, as Aru is going to fight there with the Williams of Thibaut as they go around the centre S's. The Mercedes of Aru is going to overtake Thibaut into turn 2 there, and it's the Mercedes up into P4. And we'll look back to the straight because Jack Cocaine is very, very close to the back of Corey McSweeney. Not quite close enough to make the move, but Ross Turner is close enough to make the move on the Red Bull of Jake Armstrong, who's got that wing damage and will be falling more and more positions because of how much that loses you time. And through the horseshoe corner they're going to go, and you'll see the difference between the cars with wing damage and the cars without it. Just no grip through the high-speed corners, and you'll be losing time. It's just dragging time from your race result. As Jack is so close to the back of Corey McSweeney in the McLaren there, and I think he might be close enough to go for the move. We'll check ERS for you. We'll turn off lap data because it's not really needed for the race. But down the straight into turn 1 they're going to go. Thibaut and Aru are fighting behind, but we'll keep an eye on Jack and Corey McSweeney, and Jack makes that move on the McLaren, and he's up into P8. It's a good recovery at the moment. Always the McLaren of Corey goes very, very wide there. That will not help his time, and Jack, he's not happy with one McLaren. He might want to go for the Ferrari of Mitch Nate, but he's not quite close enough. He's not got the ERS compared to the Ferrari, but the Ferrari of Mitch goes wide there. And Aru fighting away with Thibaut, and what happened there with the Mercedes? He's going to go up the inside. This is getting very argy-bargy. It's like Dodgems in the fairground as we go round. What happened there with the Mercedes and the Williams? I think there was a bit of lag that affected one of the cars, and it seems that it's nothing doing there, but well, not nothing doing there, but no harm done to either party. Maybe a bit of pride lost for those drivers, as Jack is very, very close to the back of Mitch Nate. Is he close enough to make a move on the Ferrari into turn 1? Thibaut and Aru fighting once again. We'll keep an eye on Jack Cocaine into turn 1 on the Ferrari, who's got wing damage. Jack up into P7. It's a great comeback drive for the Alpine man. The man who's still trying to keep in this championship. He's still got a hair's width in it, but he's losing points to his championship rivals at the moment. So he needs to get those positions fast, and he is doing that at the moment. But here comes here's this fight for P4. It's handbags out between these two, the two Mercedes-powered cars. Obviously, one being the factory Mercedes and the other being the Williams of Thibaut. Is he going to go for a move into Bico de Pato? No, but he's so close to the back of the Williams. He's going to be very close. Almost McKell almost loses the rear. He does lose the rear. Almost loses the car, I should say. As they go onto the straight, the medium tyre maybe starting to fall away here compared to the hard compound. As we go onto the straight, DRS wide open for the Mercedes. I don't think he's quite close enough to the back of the Williams. Oh, there's a fight for the lead there. It's F.A. Chapmak and Jake Bamford, and it's F.A. who retakes the lead. He was 6/10 back. What happened to the Sauber of Jake Bamford? He was able to make that move, and we'll look at the battle here because there's absolute carnage going on. There's action everywhere you look here in Brazil as Jack Cocaine is going to make the move on McKell. There's action literally everywhere you look as Jake, the two Red Bulls, fighting away in the background, and round the outside of Jake Armstrong, the Haas of Stephen Trodden goes, and he's going to get that move as they go down towards the horseshoe, literally battling everywhere you look on this short layout of Brazil, or not short layout of Brazil, the layout of Brazil that's very, very short, I should say. As we go round the final corner, is the Sauber of Jake Bamford able to exact his revenge on the Williams of FA Chakmak? I don't think he's quite close enough, 6/10, but then again, FA was that close on the previous lap, but no, not quite close enough for the Sauber there. And is there any battling going on behind? I doubt there is. They're all starting to form a DRS train, as is the norm on F125. But Mikel might just be close enough to Jack to retake that position that he lost last lap. But Mikel has got wing damage on the front of that Mercedes, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, he does. So a lot of drivers have got wing damage at the moment, as Ross Turner is very, very close to the back of Corey McSweeney, but not quite close enough to make a move into the Reta Aposta. And as we go into lap 8 now, the Williams of FA Chakmak, the pole sitter, has retaken that lead, and he's pulled away slightly from the Sauber of Jake Bamford. But we'll keep an eye on this midfield scrap, because it could end in a safety car. It has happened before in GRS. 2 safety cars in F1 yesterday, so we shall keep an eye on this battle, because FA Chakmak has seemed to have pulled away slightly from the back of from Jake Bamford, as Ross Turner is going to try and overtake Corey McSweeney into the centre rest as they go. And the Aston Martin is slightly ahead of the McLaren, but the McLaren gets the inside line to turn 2. But that switches into the outside line for turn 3, and that's not going to give him any time whatsoever. And he's maybe going to lose position to the Sauber of Willie John. And he might get both the cars here, but he's only going to get the one. He's only going to get Corey McSweeney in the McLaren. And Willie John, who started P3, had an accident on the first lap, or maybe the second lap, and he's down to P10. But he's trying to get the positions he lost, or at least some of them, because obviously it's very difficult to overtake on this game with the dirty air and the lack of slipstrings, and that oversteer is not going to help for the Sauber. We go down the hill here. This roller coaster-esque track, as Mitch gets so loose out the back end, and Ross Turner might see that and want to go for the move, but I don't think he's quite close enough to the back of the Ferrari. But Mitch, it's happened so many times due to him being on controller. The rear tyres get absolutely shot around this time in the Grand Prix. It's happened so many times to Mitch. It's not a problem with him, it is a problem with controller. And yeah, Ross not quite close enough to the back of the Ferrari there, because the Ferrari of Mitch has regained DRS to the back of Mikel. So we'll keep an eye for the battle for P1, because it hasn't done much in the last couple of laps. But Jake Bamford is slowly reeling that advantage back in to the Williams, and onto the straight he's going to go. But FA Chakmak has got a lot more ERS than Jack Evans in the Red Bull round. That is Robert Jovanovski into the barriers there. I think that's with him without a front wing as well. So we shall see if won't let me go off the onboard for Jake. There we go, and he has got damage to that front left end plate and most of the wing there. But there's the battle for P1. Jake Bamford is going to take the lead back away from FA Chakmak and down into the Reta Aposta. It's the Sauber who goes around the outside of the Williams, and it's a good move from the green machine on the Golf liveried car. And then the other Sauber fighting away with Mitch Snape, and he goes off the track. He takes the Verstappen 2021 line through there. I don't know what happened there. I think there might have been a bit of contact in the braking zone. Maybe he got forced onto the grass by the Ferrari. And he's fallen victim to Ross Turner as well. So one Sauber going forwards, the other going backwards at the moment, as has been the story of this race. Here comes Jovanovski out the pit lane. He's had a race to forget in the Red Bull, as I think FA Chapmak is going to go for the move on the Sauber of Jake Bamford, and across the line they go. They're going to go side by side into turn 1. The Williams has the outside line, which then switches to the inside line for turn 2, but the Sauber not quite happy with that. He's going to go for the move down the Retro-Aposta. This could end in tears, ladies and gents. Down the straight they go into turn 4. The Sauber of Jake Bamford will take that position away from the Williams of FA Chakmak. The German and the Briton fighting here in Interlagos, and it's the Briton that takes the advantage away from FA Chakmak here in Interlagos in Brazil. And it's the Sauber once again that takes that position away. Is it raining? It looks like it might be raining here in Sao Paulo. And it is. There is some rain, ladies and gents. We have got some precipitation. So it is maybe exactly like F1 yesterday, where it went from dry to wet. So these drivers, trust me, they all want to get that crossover point right. And obviously, yesterday there was a safety car when the conditions changed. But today they want to guess a little bit better than some of the F1 drivers did yesterday. As down the straight they go. Is FA close enough to the back of Jake Bamford? He is not, but we'll check on this battle because it could be 3 wide with Ross Turner. Oh, and Willie John, he almost cuts across the Sauber. Oh, there's a little bit of contact with Mikel and Willie John there. Oh, as the Ross goes round and into the wall. Not out of this race. I don't know how. It was a lot of contact to that front right-hand tyre, and it's a safety car, ladies and gents. I said there wasn't a safety car when the conditions changed. Well, I said there was a safety car when the conditions changed in F1 yesterday, and it's the exact same in F3 today. We have got a safety car out on track, and that will mean everyone will dive into the pit lane. Luckily, those leading drivers will not be on the back of the safety car, so they will not lose position by staying out. They will be into the pits, and I think they'll be into the pits for Inters because look at that track. It is getting very, very soggy quite quickly, as is the norm here in Interlagos. When it does rain, it absolutely buckets it down. And yeah, we've got 3 drivers into the pits. That'll be Brian M, who's come out on. Let me check the tyres. Yeah, he's come out on Inters. Yeah, the 3 drivers who pit have come out on Inters, which is oh, when Mitch gets a penalty. He gets a drive-through penalty, and Jake Bamford gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding into the pits, as does Novaliska. So FA Chatmak will see that, and he will think, thank the Lord that has happened. And it might get taken away. The penalty might get taken away, but I doubt it, because those tend not to get taken away here in GRS. And has anyone stayed out? No, the Williams pitting. Willie John in the Sauber pitting as well. So no one has stayed out here, because everyone thinking it is the crossover point. As Brian almost looping on the safety car. As Jake is back up to the safety car, and yeah, that is very, very unfortunate for the Sauber driver. Will he come in and just take that 10-second penalty away under the safety car here? It's probably the smart thing to do, or probably the no-risk thing to do, but will he try and get it taken away with stewarding later today? But I've rarely seen those 10-second penalties be taken off. So I think it's best for him if he just tries to pit now, because he'll lose position, but he will not have that penalty looming over his head. as Novaliska goes into the pit lane. He is going to do that. He is going to take that penalty. He goes right down to well below the speed limit, just to make sure he doesn't. Just to make sure he doesn't speed again. And he's going to try. He's going to get that 10-second penalty taken off. Mitch with the drive-through there. He will have to serve that when the safety car comes in. So that will be absolute heartbreak for the Ferrari driver. Novaliska is going to rejoin in 16th place. So Jake Bamford has stayed out. He has decided to maybe try and get that 10-second time penalty removed with stewarding, or maybe just hope everyone falls away from him and hope to not lose many positions, because he's going to lose positions. That is for sure. Unless some seriously chaotic things happen, I doubt that penalty is going to be taken off. Or at least I doubt that penalty will not affect him. So yeah, safety car out on track at the moment. We're just waiting for Robert Jovanovski to gain back up to the safety car. He's on fresh interest, and I believe the safety car will be in at the end of the next lap. Even if he doesn't rejoin the pack, I think it's just been out for too long now for it to not go in. So we shall wait for the Red Bull to get to join us as we go through turn 1 with the safety car train. So yeah, who will have any kind of wet setup on, they will be absolutely loving life, because we proved yesterday in F1 that having any kind of wet setup can pay absolute dividends with tyre wear and overall driving feel here in Interlagos. And those who maybe didn't have a wet setup, or maybe didn't have a wet setup, fell by the wayside last time out, me being one of them. As we go through the horseshoe. And yeah, I was right, the safety car is in at the end of this lap. I think Jovanovski will gain up to the safety car, because he's only a corner behind. So Jake will just try and back up the pack as much as he can to maybe it probably will allow Robert to gain to the back of the pack. I say that he is still quite a far away, a ways away. So and there he goes. Jake Bamford has bolted, but so has F.A. Chakmak, and F.A. might be close enough to make a move down into turn 1, as we've got I believe that's Mitch Snape, yeah, going into the pit lane to serve that drive through, and F.A. goes on very, very wide there out of turn 1, and yeah, Jovanovski did gain to the back of the pack there, so that is good for him. As we go down the Retroposta, the Sauber of Willie John fighting away with Thibaut in the background. We'll keep an eye on that, because he's looking at the move down into the Retroposta. I think there was a little bit of contact with Willie John and Thibaut as they go through there, and one of the Mercedes on the curb there as we go through the horseshoe section and into the infield we go. Is anyone looking racy enough to make a move into the first hairpin? We've got Novaliska fighting away with Conor Ahern in the Alpine as we go around this long left-hander, and they're going to go side by side up to Pico de Pato, and Novaliska down the inside, he makes contact with the Alpine, he spins him round, and that will be Conor Ahern falling down to virtually last. That was very Lewis Hamilton-esque from 2019. One of the McLarens going straight over the curb and losing a position because of it, I'd assume. Because the Haas of Novaliska is going to take that position away from him. And down towards turn 1. Is anyone making a move at the moment? We've still got the yellow flags out there. But I doubt, yeah, they're not on the track map at the moment. I think it's just one of the glitches we have in spectator mode. So round turn 3 we go. Is anyone looking racy at the moment? Don't think for the moment that people are getting racy, apart from Stephen Trodden. He's looking to overtake Lowry into turn 4, and he makes that position on the RB. Then we have Mikel fighting away with Corey McSweeney in the Mercedes. Brian gets a time penalty for track limit, so the other McLaren not having the best of times at the moment. And now through the horseshoe, the Mercedes and the McLaren go. They're so close to the back of each other. And Brian M and Novaliska making position, or overtaking each other. And is he going to go for the move into the turn 1? Oh, Jack spun it! Jack has looped it! In Bico de Pato, what has happened to the Alpine? And into Junsao he goes. He's lost a bunch of positions. It was looking like absolute pandemonium for the Alpine, and it's turned into not a nightmare, but he's not gonna want to see it back if it is a self spin. If it's an incident, we'll see what happened. It's obviously it's one of the McLarens goes wide. That is Corey McSweeney in the McLaren. And that is the Haas of Novaliska losing position out to one of the McLarens goes wide. Brian's all over the place in that McLaren as Novaliska's going to go up the inside into the Retro Poster. What is going on here? The Haas has just mounted the McLaren. What has gone on there? As we go into the horseshoe, I have just seen how a baby Formula 1 car is made. Because that was some over 18s action for into turn 4 there between the Haas and the McLaren. As we go down the hill, swiftly moving away from whatever's just happened there, and now into the final corner. Jack is so close to the back of the McLaren, but he gets a big amount of oversteer. And now to the line, what's it going to be? Is it going to be inside or outside? But I don't think he's quite close enough. Mikel might be close enough to the back of Thibaut. He's not going to make a move. Ross Turner overtaking Lowry down into turn 1. The Aston Martin's up into P10 and overtakes the Alpha Tower, not the Alpha Tower, the RB, I should say. And it was the McLaren going very wide. And Jack might just take that advantage into turn 4. Is he going to go for the move? Not quite close enough. And Lowry is going to lose another position to Jake Armstrong in the Red Bull. The two Red Bull family cars as Brian M and Novaliska go side by side through turn 4. And he's going to make that position on the McLaren is the Haas of Novaliska. But up the inside goes Brian into the horseshoe. He nipped a nose up the inside there. And he's run out of road there. He had the door shut on him there by the McLaren. Or by the Haas there. And now through the infield they go. Is Conor Ahern close enough to make a move on the McLaren? Not quite close enough as Ross Turner is going to lose a position out to Jake Armstrong there. One of those dive bombs into Bico de Pato. As we go onto the straight for the 20th time, or the 21st time I should say, for these drivers. And now to the line. Will there be an overtake on for Corey McSweeney into turn 1? Is he close enough? He looks up the inside. Oh, and he kind of barges Mikel through turn 1. That's another push to pass moment there. Even though he did not pass. And round turn 3 goes. He's got so much dirty air to the back of the Mercedes there. And he's not quite close enough to make an overtake into turn 4. He's quick through all the corners, and then as they go onto the straights, the Mercedes just goes down the road, escapes down the road, into the horseshoe they go, and no overtaking happening at the moment. And we'll just see if anyone's going to make a move. Corey might be close to the back of the Mercedes to set up a move. He's not going to, and Jack looking very close to the back of the McLaren. Oh, they make contact, and it has allowed Jack to get past, or at least get significantly alongside as they go round the downhill left-hander section and into the final corner. They're going to go side by side with each other down the straight, and it's Jack Cocaine that makes the overtake, but was it a bit argy-bargy? For the lead, F.A. Chakmak and Jake Bamford fighting towards turn 1. Jake Bamford obviously believing that he can get that 10-second time penalty removed, and round turn 3 is F.A. going to try and go for the Max Verstappen move into or round the outside, but he's got the inside line to turn 4. Up the inside goes the Williams, but he's not broken late enough on the Sauber, and it's the Sauber of Jake Bamford who retakes that position from the Williams as we go into the horseshoe. And they're not quite close enough to make the move. Lowry and Novaliska fighting there, and then Connor Ahern back up the inside of the RB there as we go into that little mini straight that takes you into the infield section. Oh, as Robert Jovanovski has spun again. Add that to the catalogue of errors that he has had in this race. And, oh, he's just drifting the corner. I think he's had enough at the moment. Yeah, he's drifting the corners. I think there'll be a retirement incoming for the Red Bull driver. And he's spun across the road. Into reverse he goes. And from the absolute pandemonium that was Qatar, he's gone from winning by 25 seconds in Qatar last week to falling to last place, and he will definitely be the first to retire, I would assume, here in this Grand Prix. What a difference a week makes for Robert Jovanovski, as down the straight, nothing doing at the moment between the leaders. Is the Mercedes of Mikel close enough to the back of Thibaut to make the move into turn 4? He's not quite close enough. But in the background there, the Alpine, the other Alpine, fighting into turn 1. And yeah, Robert Jovanovski retires from this race. He is the first retiree somehow in this Grand Prix. As round that little left-hander they go, and into turn 6 they go. And there was a little bit of loosey-goosey action there, but nothing doing between these two drivers at the moment. As round the left-hander they go, these leading drivers, and this rain has allowed Aru and Willie John back into the fight. And Willie John, I will definitely put on driver of the day, because he has had a stonking comeback from 3rd to last, back up to P3 it looks like, because he's going to fight with the Mercedes of Aru. And we'll look at the lead as well between F.A. Chakmak and Jake Bamford as they go around turn 1. F.A. loses out to the Sauber, and the other Sauber barging the Mercedes off the track, and he is up into P3. And where's the Mercedes gone? Oh, he was out on the runoff there. I just didn't see him in the back of the shot there, so I'd assumed he'd spun. But he is back to P4. When the Alpine's going wide, that would be Jack Cocaine in the Alpine there, and he's going to be under pressure from the McLaren of Corey McSweeney. And through the horseshoe, this battle goes for the lead, and this battle for P5 will go through the horseshoe now, and Mikel could be close enough to make a move here. He's not quite close enough on the Williams, and Brian M. Losing position to Mitch Napen. We have got a safety car out on track. What has happened here with the McLaren and the Ferrari, ladies and gents? We'll see if that McLaren has wing damage. He's definitely got wing damage to the front of that McLaren there. Yeah, no front wing on his car. And that will be that McLaren into the pit lane, and the safety car out on track once again, ladies and gents. And they will be going into the pit lane, everyone who, because intermediates very much die out here here in Interlagos. What is going on here with Willie John? And that is crossing the pit entry as far as I'm aware for Willie John. I don't know what happened there, as Willie almost spins in the pit lane. But how has Brian managed to get a drive-through for speeding under the safety car when he's not got a front wing? I think Brian's going to try, going to DNF. Yeah, he's going to retire in the pit lane. We had a few that stayed out here. Obviously confident that those tyres will go to the end. But having said that, those intermediates didn't last. I don't think they'll last 20 laps, which is what it will be by the end of the stint. As Jake Bamford's going to serve that penalty, but he's back out into P7. So he's not lost any position there, and he's not going to lose any time because he's going to be able to gain back up to FA Track Max. So that battle will be for track position now, or it will be for the lead. So we'll just wait for this safety car to do its thing as Mitch Nape with that brand new front wing goes through. And is anyone with front wing damage at the moment? So I assume they would have all gotten that fixed, because you can take that opportunity with the safety car. Novaliska, no damage on his car. Check the Rebel of Jake Armstrong. No damage on his car. No damage on the Sauber of Willie John. No damage on the front of Stephen Trodden. I assume everyone's not got damage, because it would be the silly thing to not replace the front wing if you had the chance. And I think the safety car will be in at the end of this lap, because Mitch is going to gain to the back of the safety car train by the end of the lap. Having said that, he has just pitted, so maybe not, unless he comes in to retire. But having said that, he hasn't retired just yet, so I think he is going to just get a fresh set of inters on for whatever reason. Maybe just to have another lap of tyre life in those intermediate tyres. Obviously, those tyres for a lot of these drivers will be 11 laps old, and we've seen at the moment that 11 lap old inters can be worse for wear as we go through down the Retroposter and the safety car. And we'll just wait for Mitch to gain back up to the back of the pack, because that is what is holding us up at the moment from getting going once again. And a few of these drivers have second chances to gain positions. Obviously Jack being one of those who lost positions, and he could have been fighting for the lead at the moment, but he got stuck behind Thibaut in the Williams. Yeah, so I believe the safety car will be in this lap for today, and that will probably be the last safety car out on track, because there's already been 2. So I think the limit's 2 or 3 on this game. As yet, safety car in at the end of this lap, and it will be the responsibility of Thibaut to get the pack going. Will he be any quicker or any slower than Jake Bamford was? 62 miles an hour, so that's a pretty steady pace for a safety car restart, and we'll see when he bolts, because it will have to be soon, and it is going to be now. He has bolted. Has Mikel gone with him? He's still within 2 tenths. We'll see if anyone's battling. Conor Ahern is going to be under pressure from FA Chapman. It's someone, and FA is round. He's hit the back of Ross Turner, and FA has gone from hero to 0 for the Williams, and FA's gone careering into the side of Ross Turner, and he's way too late on the brakes for the Williams car, and he's down to P10. It's heartbreak for the German, who started on pole. One of the Saubers, that's Jake Bamford going wide. He's allowed Corey McSweeney back up the inside. So for the 2 leading drivers, it has gone from hero to absolute 0 in Interlagos, and that's how quick it can change here in Sao Paulo. And as they go into the infield section, Corey McSweeney is now on Aru is now the top guy on the new set of Inters, so he is a surefire bet for the lead of this Grand Prix. But as we go into the final corner with this leading battle, we'll just keep an eye on the leaders here, because Mikel might be close enough to the back of Thibaut to make a move down into turn 1. Is Jack close enough? No, he's not, so we'll keep an eye on the Mercedes. Is the Mercedes close enough to make a move into turn 1? Not quite close enough, and we've got battling between FA Chakmak and Stephen Tron. FA trying to get those positions back that he's just lost. Does he have damage on the front of that Williams? No, luckily for him. So it'll just be positions and pride lost for the German. Not any front wing damage for the Williams car. Speaking of Williams, the other one is fighting away with Mikel here down towards the horseshoe, and into the horseshoe section we go, and so much oversteer for the Mercedes. Oh, as the Williams goes wide, that's not going to help his run. The Williams, who has damage at the moment. So how will that affect things here in Interlagos? Obviously, these drivers will be wanting to preserve tyres, because those could be in puncture territory by the end of this Grand Prix. As you can see the drying line there. That's probably what caught FA out. As Jake Bamford fighting away with Corey McSweeney. He's back up into P7. Is the Sauber, as one of the Alpines going wide. That is Conor Ahern in the Alpine, fighting away with Aru down the pit straight. And it is the Alpine that has the straight line speed in him. And Jake Bamford's out on the grass. So is Corey McSweeney. It could be 3 wide here into the centre S's, as Corey McSweeney in the McLaren is going to try and go up the inside into turn 1. There's a little bit of contact with the McLaren and the Sauber into turn 1. But it is Jake Bamford that keeps that position out in front of the McLaren. But Corey is looking so racy here in Interlagos. Is there an inside line available for the McLaren? No. And you think he gets a little bit of a shove up the back end by FA Chakmak in the Williams car. So absolute chaos and carnage for these drivers here in Interlagos. And I don't think these guys on new Inters are using them to their advantage at the moment, because the top guy on the new set of Inters is in P5, and he goes wide for his troubles, but not losing time. And oh, that's a little bit of moving under braking there from the Alpine of Conor Ahern. And you can see the traction control assist working away with, because a lot of these drivers will have traction control enabled for these cars. And that's Aru going wide there. You can see a lot of these drivers have got traction control enabled for the F1 game. Obviously nothing against that, as as the McLaren of Corey McSweeney is going to overtake Jake, and towards turn 1 he's going to be absolutely swallowed by the pack. As we go into turn 1, it's almost 3 wide. McLaren and the Sauber of Jake Bamford fighting away. Aru seeing this in his wing mirrors as F.A. Chapman is going to go round the outside, or at least try to, of the McLaren, but he's going to leave himself exposed to Willie John in the Sauber, and he's going to go round the outside. He's going to go almost off the track. It's 3 wide into turn 4. It's absolute chaos and carnage, and it's Willie John who's going to take that position off the McLaren of Corey McSweeney. In the space of a lap, Corey's gone from P7 to P9. He's lost out to both Saubers and down into the infield section. He's down into 9th, and he's got damage to the front of his car on that front wing, so that will not be helping his chances, as we've got battling behind between Mitch Snape and Stephen Trodden, as Mitch gives Stephen a little bit of a hurry up there, as Aru gets a time penalty. That will absolutely ruin his race, because he'll lose a bunch of positions now to the pack, and he's still not able to gain on those. What has happened? What has gone on with that? But the two Saubers fighting for position. Is this going to be team orders? It kind of looks like it for the two Saubers, or at least they're not going to race each other for the good of the team. They're just going to try and gain using those fresh intermediate tyres. And a thing that could be happening is Stephen Trodden has lost position to Mitch, and they've both lost position because they were both round. So going bad to worse for those drivers. As a thing that could be happening is Ross Turner and Conor O'Hearn are going to be fighting down towards the horseshoe section, and into the infield they go. But what a thing that could be happening, the slick to mediate effect with these worn inters, they're so worn that the tread gets worn away from them. There could be a dry line for these drivers, and the worn inter could be better in these conditions on the dry line as we go down the hill. It's still raining, but a slick to mediate could actually help the drivers here as we go onto the straight. And Thibaut still leads this race. He's not been in any kind of incident since the safety car restart, and Willie John is going to try and overtake Aru down towards turn 1 here. They're going to go side by side, the Mercedes and the Sauber fighting towards turn 1, but they're not quite close enough to make the move. Is Willie John down towards turn 1 here, and through the centre S's. He's not going to be able to get an exit on the Mercedes, as his teammate falling behind Corey McSweeney in the McLaren. It's gone from it's gone from hero to zero for the Sauber, I should say, not the Williams. Speaking of hero to zero for Williams, it's happened exactly like that for F.A. Chapman in the Williams. As we go into Bico de Pato with the leaders. This battle's still going on, as there's a fight between Aru and Conor O'Hearn. Aru finally using those inters, those fresh inters, to get past the Alpine, and that will be step number 1 for Aru to try and win this race. As up the inside goes Conor O'Hearn on the Sauber. He's getting all out of sorts there from the Alpine driver, and he's not going to be able to make that move, and he's so sideways coming out of the final corner on the straight here. In the dry, that does not affect the Formula 1 cars at all. In the wet, it certainly does here in Interlagos. And up the inside goes Conor into turn 1, and he's not going to be able to make the move quite just yet on the Sauber of Willie John. There's action everywhere you look here in Interlagos. And up the inside, it looked like from one of the cars, but not quite close enough, as always one of the Saubers of Jake Bamford. Jake Bamford has gone from absolute pandemonium to absolute heartbreak here in Interlagos. These two, P9 and 10, about 10 laps ago, were fighting for P1 and 2. So So yeah, you can just see how badly it's gone for them. As into Bico de Pato they go, and they're going to go side by side. They make contact once more. And that is F.A. Chakmak making, receiving a little bit of contact as Aru is going to overtake Ross Turner into the final corner. And, but he's left himself vulnerable to the back of the, or to the Aston Martin there. As Willie John is going to go side by side with Ross Turner. He's also going to try and maybe look up the inside of the Mercedes. Is he close enough? Oh, he gets so sideways into the braking zone. He locks the rears, but he's somehow able to make the overtake on Ross Turner. What a move there from Willie John. Tokyo Drift style. And he makes that overtake on the Aston Martin there. And in the background, you saw one of the McLarens putting a nose up the inside, but always Aru goes wide there, and Jack will be wanting to keep that position because it's P2 at the moment, and that will be P2 from 15th on the grid for the Alpine driver. You will be wanting to stay in that position as the Mercedes of Aru goes very, very close to the back end of the Alpine, and we've got 1.5 laps to go here. Will everyone be able to keep their composure? Can these drivers handle the pressure? No, Connor Ahern has looped it. He can't handle the pressure into Bico de Pato. Those rears are absolutely gone. It's going to allow Jake Bamford back up the inside of the Alpine. Because right now it's a decent result for Connor, but it could have been so much more if he'd kept those rear tyres in check. Because he's on the same level of tyre wear as those guys in front and his teammate. So he's got 1 lap less. He's got 1 lap more in the tyre wear there. So I tell a lie, but it's not making that much of a difference, I assume. As the Red Bull of Jake Armstrong loses a position out to Mitch Snape in the Ferrari. And will we see any more battling on this final lap? It looks like not so much. Some of the drivers came in for the fresh inters, and it turns out that it has not worked, because barring any complications, it looks like Timo's going to take another win here in F3. He's been a few weeks off the podium, but it looks like barring any complications, he's going to be on the top step of the podium. And at the moment, no more side-by-side action happening apart from maybe Willie John fighting away with Jack Cocaine, and Aru has got ahead of Jack into the final couple of corners here, and he's made that move on the Alpine. But we'll keep an eye on the Williams, and they'll be in the background of shot there. Thibaut, he's been a few weeks off the podium. He's had a few bad weeks, but Thibaut in the Williams. It's not the Williams we thought would win, but he's going to take the win here in Sao Paulo. And Jack Cocaine getting P2 there. Willie John started P3, ends P3. Ross Turner P5. Corey McSweeney in P5, I should say. Ross Turner in P4. And F.A. Chakmak from pole position down to P6. Mikel in P5. Aru in P8 for the 2 Mercedes. It could have been so much more for those drivers. Jake Bamford in P9 there. Started P2. It's an awful race for that driver. As Mitch Snape up to P10. Connor Ahern in P11 gets points. So that will be a slight silver lining there for the Alpine driver. And I told you to not miss this race, and I am certainly right, because what a race that was. And on the for the rest of the grid, it is Lowry getting the final points paying position in P12. Jake Armstrong from 12th on the grid gets 13th. Novaliska started P6, ends P14. Stephen Trodden up 1 position into P15. Brian M started 17th, finishes 16th. And Robert Jovanovski, from winning by 25 seconds last time out in Qatar, last of the order, and retiring from this race. And we'll have a look. We'll just get race director for you. This could be a long one. Yep, and that is that is Race Director for you, for those that need it. And we shall get interviews shortly, and I believe this could be quite the interesting interview room with some of these drivers. There he is. And I will just wait for the other two. You're still on stream, please. Family friendly stream. Family friendly stream, Jack. Just see if anyone else wants any interview. Well, we haven't had Willie or oh no, yeah. Tebo's here. Let's see. We'll just wait on Willie John. See if he wants to join. I doubt we'll get Willie John. So we'll start with Jack. Obviously, you started what, P15, wasn't it? P15 to P2. It doesn't get much better than that. What do you reckon? So yes, very nice, Jack. Obviously, there was a lot of carnage, and you were in your fair share of not incidents but close moments. But yeah, is there any moment that stood out to you in terms of overtaking or battles? Very, very nice. So that will be you. And obviously, next time out is. I just need to check when the next track is.
You're muted on stream, by the way.
I'm
Everyone,
aware.
that's not Matt. Are we actually?
Yeah. So, Jack, you've just yapped at me for no reason. Um,
Oh my god.
'Cause I
Sure,
got
I'll do a quick. I'll just do a quick
yeah,
summary. Yeah,
just
good.
do it for me.
Yeah, good race. Did put all my pace on the hards. Did really well. Spun on the inters. Second safety car came out. Absolute wonders. Moment that stood out for me. FA going at turn one, getting front wing damage, and him being out of the race for the podium. So then I thought, oh, I'm in for a good thing here. Full stop.
Got you. My Discord was different than my OBS, so I've just fixed it, so we're good.
So,
So if that's everything,
guys,
thank you very much. And Zamvor is next, I
ooh,
believe.
that's
So
good.
what do you reckon about Zamvor?
Zandvoort.
Obviously, it's in 2 weeks' time with the Christmas break, but
2 weeks time, granted. I like Zandvoort. I've done well at previous times. There's obviously that one time where I blabbered on for a whole season and a half about an overtake at a final corner. But
yeah,
I mean,
it's
but
more than a
actually,
whole season.
yeah.
It's
But
been
but
about 5.
Zandvoort, yeah, all right. But Zandvoort, dry and wet, I like it. I'm good in the dry and wet at Zandvoort, so I'm just excited for it, to be honest.
Very, very nice. Hopefully, we don't have a wet race because they're really difficult to commentate on because everything happens all at once. But yeah, that will be everything, Jack.
Thank you very much.
Very, very nice race from you, and we'll go to Thibaut. It looks like no one else but 2 drivers could have won that race at one point, but then the rain came down, the safety cars deployed, and at the end of it, it was you that took the win, and I think it's your 3rd or 4th win in GRS this season. How are you feeling,
It's
Thibaut?
my third, I think. Uh, I'm actually surprised a bit because I didn't think everyone was gonna pit at the second safety car, and that kind of put me in P1 and was pretty smooth from there.
Yeah, so I think why a few people pitted is because yesterday in F1, people on non-wet setups were struggling a lot with tyre wear, including myself. Like, I doubt that anyone on a dry setup would have been able to make the last couple of laps there. I believe Oscar as well. He was struggling on tyres in F1 yesterday, so that might be an explanation for everyone pitting, but. Yeah, Zandvoort up next in 2 weeks' time after the Christmas break. What do you reckon your chances are there?
I don't know actually, because I don't remember the last time I've driven Zandvoort on this game, so it will be a bit of a maybe good, maybe not so good race for me.
So, obviously, well, it is a sprint race. You might be happy to hear, and obviously it's Zandvoort, so weather can play a little bit of a carnage. But obviously, you've proven today that it is not always about outright pace. Maybe having a little bit of rub of the green or having the right setup on might be the way to win. But if that's everything, thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. That will be GRS for the next 2 weeks. Have a very Merry Christmas from everyone here at GRS, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time for some more brilliant GRS action in Zandvoort in the Netherlands. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.